demonstration. Yeah, it's an absolute demonstration of what I'm teaching. It's a live demonstration. Oh, yeah. And you know, my office is right here to where I've got windows that look out and I can see the very front of the porch, but I can't see the back of the porch where evidently all the scuffling and the whining and thumping was going on. And it sounded like somebody was being attacked by a dog or something on the front porch. I wasn't sure. Kid yelling help. And there
Can
you
I
go.
just say I absolutely love that. I'm over here rolling in the floor. I'm not going to cut that out. I'm going to leave that in there. That is so timely and so just like our God, isn't it? I mean,
Right.
he's just like, oh, we need a demonstration. Let's do a word picture.
Yeah. Right.
I actually thought that you had planned it at first.
Oh, thank you,
Is this
Sarah.
live or did she make this up? And then I realized, but I've had something today that was the scales too, as I started thinking. That's like, oh, I got this before 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Discernment. And that whole the distraction and the frustration and that's just the thing with emotional responses. There was the time that I was very spontaneous and my emotional responses weren't as well governed. And the older I get, the more I realize that I have, I need to keep myself locked a lot of the time in a lot of situations. So, well, does anybody have any questions? Oh my goodness.
That was a beautiful demonstration.
I will tell my little neighbor boy real life information in real time. There you go. There you go. It's like, and now on the battlefield, we have a 5-year-old pretending to be wounded in the front yard. I was tempted to give him something real. My mom used to say, I'll give you something to cry about. So dry it up, my dad would say, get that ball off the end of your nose. I'll give you something to cry about. I think we're all moving into places where we are being allowed, the enemy is being allowed to jump in and do things because God intends for us to take it up a notch, if that makes sense. In my life, in the last several years, I've seen that the reason that I have started looking through the scriptures, digging through the scriptures and trying to find things to help me cope, to find places where it talks about what kind of authority do I have against my enemy? What kind of authority do I have in prayer? Because I'm seeing a lot of things, and instead of being able to respond, I'm having to back up and say, okay, I see you. I see things, and I'm like, okay, I see that. And then I have to back up and ask the Lord, okay, I'm going to pray about this for a while, and I'm going to ask him how to respond. And I think that's those scales, is being able to step back into that place of pause and reflection and go into the Lord and saying, I think I understand this is going on, but you're going to have to clear this up for me and make sure I understand what I'm dealing with. And then he'll tell us, he's got to tell us, that voice behind us, it's going to tell us whether to turn left or turn right. He has to be the one, because I'm afraid that there's booby traps everywhere right now in the world. We can make bad decisions, especially if we respond emotionally, if we're governed by those things.
It's about responding and not reacting, right?
Very good. Yeah. Responding and not reacting. Because knee-jerk is never a good idea, at least with me. I got long legs. And, once you've made that knee-jerk reaction, it's difficult to put that, it's like squeezing a toothpaste, tube. It's out there. and there is no getting it back in the tube. So being able to think before I respond is something I've had to learn the hard way a lot of times.
And we as women, we do things and we say things and then we turn around and we reanalyze ourselves after the fact.
Yes.
And maybe we
Yes.
should analyze it before the fact instead of
Well,
afterwards.
And in theory, that's what I'm saying I need to do. But because I'm verbal, something will pop out of my mouth. I've always watched people that are able to sit in silence and not say anything and let me wonder what they're thinking. That scripture that says it's better for you not to say something and let people wonder than to open your mouth and basically remove all doubt, right?
Yes.
Well, when you've opened your mouth, you've made it very clear how you're responding, because my mouth has always just been connected. It was almost like a trigger response. It's like you slap the fear, or you slap the anger, or you slap that and something would pop out of my mouth. It's like
so it's a vocal button.
Yes.
They have a vocal button.
Yeah, like a Pez dispenser. All of a sudden it's just pop, pop. And, that's what I'm trying to learn from, to not respond that way.
I love that picture. Yeah, I did it again.
Oh, okay, that just shot out. Did that just shot out of my mouth? And so I'm trying to be able to gather the information, and that's where these two chapters come from. I'm trying to be able to gather the information with discernment and scrutiny and wisdom, and then sit and balance those things out before I respond. And it's
they keep tissue sometimes in certain settings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so that I can wipe the blood from my mouth because I'm biting my tongue so hard.
Well, it's better than, better bite my tongue and it be my own blood than me let go and it's somebody else's blood on,
Exactly.
where I've chomped into somebody, which that's happened before.
And you know what? I just want to encourage you that, that stuff that just comes out of your mouth, you're just quick-witted.
Oh, well, that's what I've told myself before. Hopefully I'm quick-witted with discernment.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm quick-witted with a great ballast of mercy.
Yeah.
That's what I think we as women are, especially by the time we're here. I think we're trying to have everything saturated, and that's another chapter in mercy. That's another chapter. But I can't remember when it was. When I was a younger woman, I used to say that there was somebody in my family that I'd say she was just so quick that if somebody, if you upset her, it was like she'd whip out the claws like they used to in the cartoons and just say something, and it'd be like, just, and you'd just fall over like in the cartoon in pieces because she was so able to just, and then there came a time in my life where I realized that I had that same ability, that when I felt threatened or upset or justified in my response, that I could be just as, and just say something that was so sharp and so cutting and so that would just shred. And I was convicted by that because I was really quick to judge this other person in my family and say, wow, she'll shred you. But I had that same capacity when I needed to yank that out and use that tool. I had it too. And so I was convicted about that. So our words, when we use the sword we use the sword that is the word of God, it may divide, but it does it for to glorify the Lord. If we have to divide with the sword of the word, it is not a division that is an aggressive attack. It is a division that is a loving offering to our sisters or brothers. So by the time I'm 100, I'm going to have it down. I've not got far to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm
On
going
our
to
journey.
need to hurry up
Right?
because I'm getting closer to that.
Yes.
Aw.
Yeah. You're ahead of me, Sarah. Well, and we're going to be perfect. That's where we're headed. We're going to be perfect. He's going to perfect us. We won't ever say anything accidentally that wounds anybody. We won't hurt anybody's feelings. We won't walk away and think, oh, that was thoughtless. I should have realized whatever. We won't do that ever again, because he's going to have that governance of that completion of the governance in us. Right now, we're just trying to exercise his governance while we fight off our flesh, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
Yeah, I'm
is
ready
difficult.
too.
Yeah, she says so ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sabrina, you're right. I'm like, can I just skip on over to that part?
I know.
I'm done.
But this part of the battle, though, if we can overcome, you know, us being overcomers, it's us overcoming our own mess, you know, our own ability to shred people with their words, and taking that and becoming that new creation by allowing him to let our words give life instead of give death, and our responses to build instead of tear down. It's us taking that authority and walking in that. That's how we are those overcomers in the world. And that's how we can shine the light of his word. And that's how we can do things that when we get there, he'll say, well done, good and faithful servant. You know, that's going to be the bomb diggity, right? When we're able, and then he'll be like, now I'm going to make you perfect. I'll be like, we. And what a
Diggity.
rest. Talk about a Sabbath. That will be the
Yeah.
ultimate Sabbath, when we won't have to struggle,
Yeah.
you know, with this. Who's going to free me from this body of death? Paul says, right? And God says, I will. Eventually, you know,
Mhm.
eventually.
Well, any other questions? Comments?
Y'all want to go with me out in the front yard and grab that little fella?
No, let him
I'm just
be. Let
kidding.
him
I'm just
be. Oh
kidding.
my gosh.
He didn't know I was doing this.
It
He didn't
was
know.
precious.
He
But you
thought
know
he
what?
was just being funny, right?
It was.
I'm thinking that little boy does not know how blessed he is that he is doing this right now.
Right. Well, and normally he would have
Right.
done that, and I would have gone over and opened the door. His name's Abel, and I would have said, Abel, we don't need
Oh, that's
right. Abel, we don't need to yell help unless we really need help. We don't need to act like we're hurt or hide when somebody's looking for us when they think we're hurt. This is not a funny game, you know. Normally he would have just had that immediate response, but I had to get back in here to you guys. So
Did you ever play it when you were little?
oh, we used to play ding dong ditch. We just
Yeah.
go ring doorbells and run
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
He's
Did
I
it's
not
missed
just
do
that.
it's the new version of Ding Dong Ditch. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
It's
It's
Yeah.
in
like
those days, people sat on their front porches and
Right.
were open. So everybody knew where everybody was. Right?
Yeah, well, and we used to hide and make, you know, howling noises, woo, you know, bird noises and all those different things just to be funny, you know, kids. But yeah, I guess that my grandkids are out there somewhere. So I can't say a lot or they'll get in trouble with their folks. I try not to get them in trouble.
Uh,
If they show
It's
up on my street, I'll send them back. How's that?
Right? What did you ask? What'd you ask, Sabrina?
I was just wondering if it was still recording.
yes,
Yeah.
would you like me to stop it?
Are we done
Yes,
recording?
ma'am.
Okay.
Okay,
And
so we are
I'm not. If you're